Thank you. This Memorial Day has special significance because of two anniversaries. The first anniversary is the centennial of when the United States entered World War I. This was the war to end all wars, which did not end war. Our history and tradition as a country before and even after World War I was to have a small standing military. After World War I, we demobilized. When we were attacked in World War II, we had to mobilize and play catch up again. History, however, taught us a lesson. If we care about peace, we must stay strong in order to protect it. A strong military is necessary not only to stop attacks, but also to deter military threats. Too often, aggressors see freedom as weakness. Our armed forces remained in Germany and Japan after World War II to help rebuild those countries and to foster democracy. We still have armed forces in those countries today, and our military serves this country throughout the world to guarantee that freedom will continue to ring across America. Freedom and peace have never had a better friend than armed forces. Over the last 2 weeks, or today, you've seen the wearing of the poppy. During the trench warfare in World War I, poppies were growing in many of the battlefields. The red color was associated with the blood of the soldiers who died in those fields. But every part of the poppy is symbolic. The yellow and black center signifies the mud and desolation of all battlefields. The green stem is symbolic of the forest, meadows, and fields where generations of Americans have perished to make this land free. The stem represents the courage and determination of our fallen warriors. On this special day, we honor and remember those who never came home. Ever since the beginning of this republic, we depended on those who would risk everything for freedom, liberty, and democracy. Freedom is not free. The price is paid by those who died loving their country. In 8 years of war, and over 25,000 patriots lost their lives in the Revolutionary War in order to form our country. For over 200 years, we've had to fight to preserve our freedoms. President Reagan asked the question, where do we find these heroes? He answered his own question by saying, these are ordinary people who accomplished extraordinary things. He went on to say, no arsenal, no weapon is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and free women. Today, we honor them by never forgetting our family members, our neighbors, and our friends who have given the ultimate sacrifice. We must never forget. The second anniversary this year is the 75th anniversary of Jimmy Doolittle's raid on Tokyo during World War II. 1942. The Jimmy Doolittle raid epitomizes the sacrifice and bravery of our veterans. 5-man crews climbed aboard 16 B-25 bombers. They knew they could not return to the aircraft carrier that they were taking off from. They would have to fly 2,300 miles through enemy territory to reach their target. Most considered it a suicide mission. If they were not shot down over Japan, they were hoping to land on primitive airstrips in friendly territory in China before running out of fuel. They were prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice for their country. 15 of the bombers crashed in China, and 1 landed in the Soviet Union. 8 of the airmen were held as prisoners of war, 3 were executed by the Japanese, and 1 died of disease and captivity. Today is a day to remember and give thanks for the valor of others. We should take a moment today to reflect on what we are doing with their legacy. The memorial for them is the nation we create from their sacrifices. I would like to recite the first 2 verses from the poem In Flanders Fields. This poem was written by a Canadian doctor who witnessed the gassing and the trench warfare in World War I. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow that marks our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly. The scarce heard amid the guns below, we are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. It's been my honor for me to speak to you today. Thank you for taking the time to show your gratitude and respect for those who have served. It is not the sacrifice of one veteran, but the sacrifice of all veterans in all wars that allow us to stand here today in freedom. America is the land of the free because it is the home of the brave. God bless America, and God bless our fallen heroes. Thank you.